What's up, guys? This is John with the Beginner Trading YouTube channel, where we are a free resource and community for traders. I'm going to be running my own penny stock show right here on Benzinga. I'm with my boy, story trader or story investor, Mitch. I call him Richie Mitch. What's up, man? How you doing today,
What's
sir?
up, man? It's good to be with you, bro. One of the things is, we had plenty of times before. I'm just happy to be back, and now we're on Benzinga. Hey, it's gonna be fun to do this. You are the man now. I feel to go to when I hear about penny stocks. So I'm excited to do this. Everybody out there, hey, do my friend John here starting up this show a favor. Let's hit the like, let's hit the subscribe. Let everyone know this brand new show is just starting up, guys. And I'll let you take over. It's your show, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Hey, I'm happy to be here. It's fun. It's Sunday evening. One of the craziest weeks we've ever had in the market. It's been a load of fun. There's been a lot of volatility, obviously, with GameStop and all that good stuff coming on. And honestly, it's an exciting time for us as traders, is it not? It's just a fun time. I'm excited for tomorrow morning, and hopefully we'll have some fun today. I'm checking out the chat. What's up, guys?
Yeah, it looks like you have some fans out there. They're saying that they watch you every day, man. It's looking good. Look, the
I see
GOAT.
Tiny out there. I see.
Howard Cunningham here with the GOAT.
What's up, guys?
Hey, the GOAT, baby. Let's do this.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the first thing I really wanted to talk about is some of the crazy movers that we've had this past week, not only in penny stocks, but I think we have some that are gapping up really nicely in after hours. If you guys want to talk about those really quickly with the top movers. All right, so yeah, so the first one that I really want to talk about, and I know it's not really a penny stock, so don't get too mad at me here, but there's an interesting story with Dogecoin. I think that's how you pronounce it. To be honest, I've only first heard about this coin in the last few weeks here. But what this
The Doge.
Yeah,
I heard it's
Dogecoin.
Doge. The
Like
Doge.
I had a feeling I was mispronouncing that. But this thing, the story behind this is crazy. It was originally founded as like an ironic crypto or a joke crypto coin, I mean. And so it wasn't even meant to be taken seriously. But with all this craziness with Wall Street bets, looking for targets to pump up and looking for, stocks or cryptos that are going to be able to run, it's super interesting. A funny story. I tried to buy a few shares of this yesterday, just a few $100s worth of shares of this. And I tried to go through Robinhood. They wouldn't let me buy it. I tried to go to Kraken. They wouldn't let me buy it. And I literally tried to buy like $500 or $600 worth of this coin yesterday. Turns out it over doubles today during the day. So I'm still a little upset about that. But I'm not telling you to buy this thing, and I'll talk a little bit about it right now. It's an interesting coin, and like I said, it was created as a joke cryptocurrency here, based off of a meme. And so this is a literal meme cryptocurrency. And I think, considering the current state of the stock market and crypto world, I mean, is there any better crypto coin right now than a meme crypto coin? I don't know if you can get really better than that. It also has a lot of stuff going on social media. A lot of people are telling people to buy this stock. Listen, I traded all week last week, and all I heard was hold the line or buy Doge or Dodge or whatever it is. That's all I heard last week. And so that has to show that we are having at least some buyers in here and some interest that is certainly showing up. You can see the 24-hour chart here. I think I have another chart we could look at, which is the weekly chart. Let me see if I can clip this. On Coinbase. I'll show you guys on Coinbase, I guess. But you can see the weekly chart here for Doge or Dodge. And yeah, it's been moving some since the last 4 days. And so I'm curious to see what it's going to do this upcoming week. Like I said, I really have no idea what this one's going to do, but it's moving enough to be volatile. And when there's volatility, you can profit from that volatility. I'm certainly not telling you to invest in this thing long term. I mean, because let's be honest, it is a meme crypto coin, but when there's volatility, there's money to be made, and so that's what I'm going to be looking at, I think.
Yeah,
Also,
definitely. I have to tell you, I went a little crazy with that one, because when I saw it in the morning jump up to like 60-70%, and then by the end of the day up like 500%, I was like, man, did everybody just move their money from GME to the Doge?
Right.
And all I saw on Twitter was nothing but the dog, the dog with the rocket just
Right.
taking off. Just that's
That's
all
all
I
I
saw,
heard, bro.
guys.
Yeah, and that's what I say. I know it's not a penny stock, so that's why I prefaced it with it's not a penny stock. I understand that it is a cryptocurrency that's like 3 or 4 cents, and it's doubling and tripling. So I just thought I would bring this up again. I'm not telling you guys to buy this thing, obviously, but it's certainly something that I'm going to be watching, as I do think most traders should be watching everything that's moving like this right now as well. Yeah, not financial. Diamond hands. I heard a lot of diamond hands. People were calling me paper hands, which I kind of take pride. I kind of take pride because I'm a big wimp in trading, which I think is a good thing. I think being a wimp sometimes is a good thing as well. But we're
Hey,
certainly watching it.
that's how it is. What else we got? What else we got moving out there, man?
Okay, so yeah, let me see. Let me make sure. I'm also looking at CATB, which is Catabasis Pharmaceuticals. Now, this one ran a lot last week. Again, I'm not really telling you to buy this thing, but it is pulling back to major support. It formed some nice lows right around this 350 area. I'll try to zoom in here. We did form a nice low right around here at 350. We're approaching $4. It basically retraced most of this big run yesterday. But one of the main things that I always look for if I'm trading penny stocks or just small cap stocks in general is volume. And this thing certainly has decent volume. One of the things that helped me improve as a trader the most, specifically when I traded penny stocks, was I started to be much more strict with the stocks I traded. Before I would get bored and trade low volume stocks. But once I started to focus on good volume, my trading certainly drastically improved from that. And CATB certainly has good volume and okay technicals as well. I know I checked Benzinga for the catalyst here. On Wednesday, it had I believe it had an acquisition of Quellis Biosciences, which is a privately held emerging biopharmaceutical company focused on discovering best-in-class new molecules to treat serious rare diseases. And so it has a catalyst. It's a decent enough catalyst to watch it and hopefully spark some more volume on Monday, which is usually a decent day for running up in these penny stocks. And so we'll watch that one as well. If I'm looking at major levels here for CATB, I'm looking at this the pre-market high from Friday right around 450 looks interesting. And so looking at this range to see what it's going to do, if it can either break above this range and then maybe hold support, as well as break above the VWAP being way up there as well, then we might get some momentum trades that we can attack and kind of exploit on a short-term basis. And that's what I'm going to be looking for here. Again, if it breaks under 450 and especially under like $3.15, $3, I'm definitely not liking it. And that's when I'm going to kind of put my hands up and be done with it. But there is some extension away from the VWAP. And one of my favorite strategies with these type of stocks is getting in some momentum breaks, maybe some red to green moves at the opening bell, and then riding them up to the VWAP level when the VWAP is extended like this. We'll have to wait and see what happens Monday in pre-market, but that's kind of what I'm looking for here with CATB as well.
Yeah, man. I've definitely seen those biotechs make some moves. So I'm gonna have to add this one on my list. I really didn't really watch this one, but I mean, hey, anything that makes a $4 pullback with an $8 rip out, that could get my attention any time of the week. So definitely have to take a look at Cat B this week.
Yeah, for sure. It's got a relatively small float of 19.5 million. Short float percentage is a little bit under 8%, and so it's not terrible. Small market cap, some cash on the book. So I'm just watching it for short-term moves, and we'll see what happens with that as well. Another one I'm looking at is I know this isn't a penny stock, and I'm sure we're going to hear some of that from the chat as well, but I have to at least talk about it once, which is AMC. We've had a lot of interesting moves here from AMC in these past few days. Now, I don't know if I love this one as much as GameStop, specifically because the float is 161 million. And so it's a larger float than GameStop, and it also has a smaller short float percentage. So there's less shorters that can potentially get squeezed out here. But, we're going to watch it for momentum, just like we're going to watch GameStop as well. And it is under $20. And so I figured I would also bring this up also, just because this is something that I didn't really hear the end of last week with. Hold the line, AMC, buy AMC. That's all I ever heard. And so we're going to watch it just because there is some interest, which can cause some good volume for it as well. And that one is also on my list to watch. Being under $20 is cheap enough, I think.
Yeah, definitely. AMC is gonna be something on everybody's radar. I actually was keeping an eye on this one as I made the zero call out. Remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think everyone's gonna start hitting up my Twitter now.
Oh,
I
dude.
actually, I mean, do you remember in March when I thought this company, was gonna have a tough time because of the pandemic? I was like, man, AMZ is possibly gonna go to zero.
And it still might. I mean, I listen. I'm not saying it will, but it's not. It's understandable. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. It should never be up here. It's same thing with GameStop. But this is what happens when institutional banks gets too greedy. This is what happens. They get squeezed out. That causes a domino like run up, and GameStop's all of a sudden at $400. I feel like we're in the 90s. We got GameStop. We got Fossil. We got Express running. Uh,
Shield wall, baby,
yeah.
shield wall. Put it down.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other one I'm looking at is VXRT. Now, this one is a penny stock, and this one is interesting for a few different reasons. Like I said earlier, the volume is good. I'm looking at the latest catalyst that came out Wednesday. It announced that it was that their data was published in the American Journal of Preventative Medicine. So it has a catalyst that came out Wednesday that initially sparked some of this move. You can see way back here if looking at my chart. Let me see. Yeah. So we could see a little bit of a catalyst that was sparked back here earlier this week. But on Friday, this one actually started to get some interesting volume coming in. It ran up to 1350s, and now it's sitting over the VWAP, sitting at 1214s now. Let me see what the actual fundamentals for VXRT are here. I know I looked at them before. It's a little bit larger of a float. And so this one, I think if you're going to trade it, it might be a little bit more of a longer term trade. The short float at this one, though, is 40%, 39.8%, which is incredibly high as well. And so we could have the potential to get some more short squeezes here. And that might be what's causing some of this move as well with that catalyst coming out on Wednesday. Let me catch back up on the chat.
Yeah, guys, it looks like you're getting a lot of love out there, man. A lot of people happy that you're taking over the Sundays on Benzinga. Some
Hey,
people saying that Sundays ain't boring no more.
hey man, Sundays are my favorite. I mean, Sundays are my least favorite day of the weekend, so I might as well make it a little bit brighter, being here on Benzinga.
Hey,
Um,
like always, hey, got to make it a little interesting. I know some people saying that AMC is not a penny stock, but hey, guess what? If you look 2 weeks ago, guess where it was?
right. Hey, listen, if y'all think I'm not going to at least mention AMC today, like I said, even with some of these not being penny stocks, I got to mention Doge and AMC. I have to do it.
Gotta do it.
Yeah, listen, it was penny stocks. Listen, GameStop 4 months ago was $4. And so it's interesting in understanding these moves and seeing the volume come in. But yeah, those are a few that I'm watching this week. The last one I'm looking at is PHUN. Now, PHUN, this one picked up some good volume recently as well. Looking at the fundamentals, PHUN has a 41 million float. So it's a little bit smaller than VXRT, and the volume is really nice here. And again, one of the things that helped my trading, if you're looking to trade penny stocks, volume is so important. It's one of the reasons you should watch the VWAP as well. But volume is going to, in order for technical analysis to really work, and when we're looking at stocks on a technical level, you have to have volume. You need buyers to step in at those major levels if you want good things to happen, and if you want your strategies to actually work. If you want support to hold, if you want resistance to reject, you need volume stepping in, and it's an absolutely crucial part of any type of technical analysis. And so with that, I'm not saying these things are going to hold. I'm not saying these things are going to run long term, but these things have good enough volume that they might get interesting into the opening tomorrow, hopefully in pre-market tomorrow as well. Catch up on the chat. SNDL. Oh, I also like SNDL. I was going to bring up that one as well, and I guess we can look at that one really quickly too here for SNDL. I also saw one of the members came on y'all's show on Zinger Nation.
Yeah, man. We've been working hard to get some more like executives on and try to get some information out there so that everybody knows, right? Because
right.
there's not enough coverage on these small caps, and I think that's why you do what you do, right, John?
Right, 100%. That's what I trade. It's mostly, in the trading world, penny stocks and small caps is kind of interchangeable with any stock under $20 that has a relatively small float. Even if it doesn't have a small float, most traders are going to refer to penny stocks as being stocks under $20. So that's what we're going to look at, and that's what we're going to kind of encompass with this show is most stocks, cheaper stocks that people might have a little bit more access trading. And that's what's going to be the fun part, because a lot of these, especially with low floats, they can make these huge percentage moves. The smaller the float, the bigger the range on average, and the more easily, momentum is going to come in there. So that's what we're really focusing on here. I see somebody said fun is so much fun to trade. Hey, I'm sure there's a lot of puns to be had with fun.
Hey, we got the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
Right. Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, like I said, I'm excited to do it because it'll get my mind right for Sunday. We'll get ready to trade. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I saw you make a trade today or this week in Cat B.
Yeah.
Can you give us at least some insight on that? Like I want to get into the trade of the week, man.
Trade of the week, bro.
Get us to the trade of the week here.
All right, let's go.
All right, let's hit it.
All right, so looking at the trade of the week here, this is one of my favorite scalping positions. It's probably one of the ones that I use the most. If you watch me trade, I trade live every day on YouTube. And so, you can see me trade these strategies consistently, and they work very, very well. All right, and so the first thing you want to understand is that we're using the VWAP here for CATB. We're looking at the VWAP, and I'm going to clear this just so it's easier, just because I drew the range out when looking at this one earlier. But what I love to do with these type of moves is I love to look for opening weakness is what I initially look for. And a lot of the time, this opening weakness is going to come from people that are profiting in pre-market, taking their profits, right? They're covering their positions, they're taking their profits. A lot of the time, even if we get a really strong gap up at the, in the pre-market session, it's going to drop a little bit at the opening bell just from profit taking a lot of the time. And so that's what you can see here with CATB. You can see some drops specifically, mostly just from profit taking. Now, after it starts to get some volume coming in, and if you look at the volume here, you can see it really starting to increase as the stock starts to cross above the VWAP. And now what the VWAP is telling us here is that the VWAP is telling us after the open, it's in a short-term downward trend, mostly, again, from profit taking. But once it specifically starts to cross above the VWAP, and you can see the volume coming in, and it taps this opening high right here. You can see the opening high right here. I love buying that little dip to the VWAP area. I have a lot of videos about this. I love buying this pullback to the VWAP area. A lot of the time, all this volume coming in is going to allow the stock to kind of regain some strength with a small pullback to the VWAP, and you can see it here. And this is where you're going to want to enter the position. This is where I entered the position on Friday, I believe it was. And you just buy this little micro pullback to the VWAP. You can also look at it similar to a cup and handle pattern. If you know what a cup and handle pattern is, you have the cup, and then you have this little micro handle right here, this little small pullback with the VWAP as support. And so dip buying it there and just scalping it up after this little pullback is my favorite thing to do. And it's an extremely high percentage play, in my opinion, if you can find it and wait for it and be patient with it. That is my favorite trade from last week. It's something that I did over and over again last week, not just in CATB, but also, in a ton of these other stocks, was just waiting for a weak open, looking for a red to green move reversal, breaking above the VWAP, and then pulling back, giving me a small dip buy entry where we can look for a break, not only, up to this opening range high, but once we get right here and, it has a lot of potential to get more volume, like you could see, and just really rip up after that. And that's going to be the sparking catalyst to these huge moves in penny stocks a lot of the time. And it just works really well. Mitch knows about those VWAP reclaims.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things is, around what time do you usually see those swings? Just kind of give it a time frame.
Yeah, I would say probably look for it anywhere between like 10 to 15 minutes after the opening bell, all the way up to like an hour and a half after the open. You're not going to get it too much in the first 5 minutes, just because, again, a lot of the time that's a really volatile part of the open. You know, that first 5 minutes, everybody's kind of going crazy, a lot of emotion. But once that settles down and you get a small drop and then you get a reversal back up, like I said, it just works really well because momentum starts to change. You know, the sentiment as a whole starts to change as it starts to drop at the open. You know, it starts to creep closer and closer to the VWAP. Other traders see that. They start saying, okay, well, if this thing breaks the previous high of the day, it can spike a lot of the time. And again, it just works really well, and it's one of my favorite strategies. I've been trading it. It's a mix of kind of like a red to green move and a VWAP bounce, if you will, in these stocks.
Hey, well, it looks like we have a lot of people joining in here, John. We got like over 300 people on YouTube, over 60 people watching us on Twitter. So definitely, if you're watching this, support the new show, guys. Hit the like, smash it up.
The likes up. Hey, let's pump those like numbers up. You know,
we got a question in the chat here from Jim Smith. Jim Smith is asking, "Hey guys, when do you take profits in this strategy?" John, when would you look to take profits in a trade like that?
Okay, so sure. So first thing I want to preface this with is that everybody's a little bit different when it comes to profit taking. You know, people have different preferences. Some people are more patient. Some people are less patient.
Definitely.
And that's going to, 100%. And that's going to be based off of your own personality. Like, I'm a very skeptical trader. And so when I'm taking this strategy, I'm not very patient at all. And so I'm mostly a scalper. And so I'll scalp these moves a ton. One of the things is that you're going to want to look for is you're going to look for the distance between the VWAP and this previous high of the day, right? And so if you're just scalping it like me, you know, I might jump in here at like 350, ride it up to like 375, make 25 cents a share really quick. But other people are going to want to trade the breakout over this previous high. So they're going to want to trade the breakout over this. And that's an understandable way to take it as well. It doesn't mean either of us are wrong. My usual go-to in this, especially if we're getting a nice gap in pre-market, is I'm going to immediately pivot to the pre-market high right here. So if you're going to try to make it a longer term trade, I love using the pre-market high. It's just a very major level that a lot of other traders are watching. And so it consequently has a lot of sway over stock movements because everybody's watching it. Everybody knows it. A lot of people are going to be looking to trade the pre-market high break or the rejection. And so I love using that as a really nice reward target or any major level from pre-market really. And again, that can vary depending on the range.
Nothing like the VWAP, guys. It's only one indicator that ever stays on my chart, and that would be the VWAP, guys. So if you guys want to see some more VWAP trading, definitely check out John on his channel, guys. When does it start, John?
Yeah, so we go live and day trade the open every single weekday morning for free at around 7 a.m. is when we start. It varies. Sometimes we start it earlier. It really depends on what's moving and what's happening in the market. You know, this past week we started it super early, but usually it starts at 7 a.m. And yeah, man, I appreciate it. Well, hopefully we'll trade some of these. We'll see though.
Definitely. Let's get into some stocks from the chat, maybe, or something.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm seeing.
Let's see what we got.
CATB.
There you go.
Or no, CATB, what we just looked at. Let me see. I saw a few of them that were good. GSAT. Let me look at GSAT.
That GSAT life.
I don't know. And again, I'm going to preface this with we all see different things in the market, and we all have different preferences and different strategies. And so I'm not saying this one's not going to work. It's just a little bit too small of a range for me. You know, as a scalper, I need some range. And, you know, whenever it's, you know, they call it barcoding. Whenever it's barcoding like this, it just doesn't have much movement. I would pivot to a longer term chart. And the daily chart doesn't look terrible, to be honest. If you are looking to potentially swing trade or maybe invest, the daily chart's not horrible. I'm not telling you should buy it just because, you know, nobody knows what these are going to do. But the daily chart doesn't look bad. We see some strength. We see some previous support holds. We see some support at $1. And so the long-term chart doesn't look terrible. But again, short-term just doesn't have a huge range. Let me see what else we have.
Yeah, let's see what else we got here. I saw one that we actually got a tip for already, man. We're getting tipped, man. We got Genesis Healthcare. Let's check this one out.
Yeah, and this one's a similar thing, which is I'm not going to day trade this one just because the volume's too light. But we would want to pivot to long term. And you want to handle this one, Mitch, or you want me to go?
I mean, you can handle it. You're the expert. I'll give my opinion at the end.
Hey, no experts here, but but no, it does look horrible. The problem, okay, so this is what you want to understand. Like long term, who knows what this is going to do? The reality is most penny stocks are terrible companies, and that's just facts. Most penny stocks are terrible companies. Of course, you're going to have outliers, and you're going to have exceptions to that are really strong. I mean, obviously, NIO comes to mind, which NIO used to be like $5. Mitch was talking about how strong NIO was for a long time, and now it's well up there. So they can certainly be strong, but you want to look at penny stocks with a certain degree of skepticism, I think, most of the time.
Yeah,
Now, look at,
definitely.
yeah, for sure.
One thing I would ask, I don't know what happened on that 14th of October or the 13th of October. Those two dates stand out with me with those pop-ups. I don't know if it was offerings or something like that, but definitely I'd wait for it to get back above that level. I mean, because there was so much volume traded that day. Someone is in between those shares. So that's what it would stand out to me is that 13th and 14th of October.
Right. Yeah, and I like that. And so it's right around 65 cents, which I think is a solid level too, and it's right around where we are now. So if you look at it, that's actually slightly above us, and you can even see the confirmation on this chart. Now, again, very low volume stock, not my cup of tea, if you will. But yeah, the daily chart doesn't look horrible either. Let me see, the last like 4 or 5 months, it's been in an upward trend. So it's been moving up nicely, decent percentage move as well. Now, obviously, it looked really weak before that. But starting in October, November, this thing's been moving a little bit, holding its gains. It's actually, ripped up to 85, 90 cents, and then pulled back to that 65 level Mitch was talking about. So, yeah, I like Mitch's level. I think that's actually a really spot on analysis at 65 cents is a solid level to watch, I think.
All right, all right. So I'm seeing another one there. I don't know if they're telling us to get naked or they want us to check out NAKD, but Laura with the NAKD, hey.
Yeah, Naked Brands. This one is run. I've seen. This is one of those ones where I've seen it run a ton. We've all seen this one before. Looking into the really long-term chart, it looks like it's been diluted some. But looking into the yearly chart here, or the let me see. Yeah, the yearly chart. The last few days have been pushing this one up. I think this one wasn't this one of the ones that Wall Street Bets was also getting behind. Wasn't that
Yeah,
NAKD?
I think so. I think a couple of people were definitely trading this one. And the thing I think about NAKD is this was a short this one had big short interest float. I mean, you remember when this one ran in the prior, I mean, do you remember we used to trade this one, I mean, like years ago.
Yeah.
So
I
this
remember.
one has a tendency of running. I mean, before I think it ran like if you look at that prior spike. I mean, look at that spike. It's not like it hasn't done this before. So
Yeah, for sure. And I think the right way to approach these, and again, it's going to be purely subjective, but I think the right way to approach these is that if you're going to buy these, you look at the history. Most of the time, this one fails. It spikes though, and that's what Mitch is saying. So this one spikes. It actually spikes, and so what you can do a lot of the time is wait for it to come back, hold it, see if it spikes again, and that's kind of one of the plans. It's also pulling back, and I think one of the interesting levels. This is one of the first time in the last year that this one has actually held a decent amount of its gains. It's pulling back to this 150 level, and I think 150 is a really interesting level that's really close by because if you extend it to the left here, you can see all this support and resistance back here. And so that 150 level is an interesting level to watch for it to see if it's going to actually hold there. That is both confirmed on the longer term chart, as well as it being a half and whole dollar or a half dollar here, which again gives it a lot of psychological strength, if that makes sense, where people are watching the half dollar. A lot of the time, people are anticipating support to hold at half and whole dollars. And so when it pulls back, maybe we'll get some buyers to step in. And I think that's certainly worthy of watching here for it.
all right, looks like the next one here mentioned. I got KOSS by Josh.
KOSS, man. This one absolutely
KOSS.
crazy. Certainly not a penny stock anymore. I'm sure the chat's gonna go crazy now. But yeah, this
Look
one's
at that
interesting.
chart.
Yeah. Look at my old support and resistance here. Look how small it looks now. It's just like a
Good lord.
little pebble compared to it now. I'll get rid of it. But
Look at that pullback though.
yeah, I mean, what this chart shows us is the power of a small float. People were talking about AMC last week, but AMC's got a float of 160 2 million. You know, it's not a tiny float for AMC. It's going to be a lot hard to pump. It's going to be a lot harder to pump it up if that's what people are trying to do. Now, KOSS, on the other hand, this one's got a tiny float. I believe, let me see. I believe it's like 1 million or 1.5 million. Yeah, it's 1.4 million for KOSS. So an incredibly small float. And again, what this chart really shows you is the power of a small supply. You know, a small supply, which is a small float, these things can run huge percentage moves. And I believe this is a headphones company, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But yeah, interesting levels, interesting moves, tiny float, and I'm curious to see what this one's going to do next week as well. I don't know if I was looking at this just because of the sheer volatility and range here. It's hard to point out major like confirmed levels super easily. I guess $60 is one, but I would kind of pivot when the range is this big to just look at major like tens. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you know, look at those levels because I think specific hold dollars are going to be less significant just because of the huge range here.
All right, we're getting mentioned here by Dukes Valor of WWR.
WWR. Yeah, I saw that one too. This one's been running for the last few months, if I remember correctly. Wait, what did I do? There we go. Yeah, so this one for me, let me see. So yeah, I mean, this one's not terrible. Again, it's one of those ones that is downtrending at this point in time. It's downtrending the last few days. And if you look at the short-term chart, it doesn't look great. But if you look at the long-term chart, it really isn't terrible here. I think the major level you want to watch is $6. $6 being underneath it. You know, you can see some confirmation on the chart previously at 6. It's a whole dollar. You could look at some highs up here to see if you want to like attack that range up to some of these highs. And it does have the potential to move, obviously, as well. Not a terrible long-term chart either. It's holding its gains, and that's what you want to see long-term if you're looking to hold. Has it been holding? You know, is its historical gains? You know, does it run up and then immediately come back down to the previous levels, or does it run up and pull back some, which is natural and understandable, but actually holds? And we're seeing it hold a little bit recently for WWR. Looking into the fundamentals or the numbers, really, it's got an 18 or 19 million float. Short float's decent size. It's a little bit under 20% short float. Market cap of 121 million, about 5.5 million in cash. So interesting fundamentals. Small enough float to where it can move, and a big enough short float where it can get squeezed. And it looks to be holding its level. So all in all, not terrible. If I was going to trade it, I would probably use either 6 or 5, depending on the range and the time I want to hold the stock. I would look at like 6 and 5 as major levels.
Yeah, what stands out to me is if this one could get above 7. I just see it like on the weekly a little bit. Like every time it gets above 7 in the last couple of weeks, it fails there. That's what really drove it. Like, I mean, above that 8 is where it really got to where it started driving up there in that big run in September of October 20th in 2020. But yeah, that's $7 because it went up there just slightly above that, and it can't hold it. So I think if it can't get that level, then I wouldn't say the Bulls got control of this one.
Right. Makes sense for sure.
All right, let's go. Let's touch one more. One more. I see this one mentioned a couple of times. Looks like he really wants us to touch it. KNDI.
Candy.
Yeah,
Just off the
Candy.
top of my head, automotive, but it's not EV, right? It's just regular automotive, if I remember correctly.
Hey, the weekly chart definitely volatile on this one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm looking at that now. It's making some moves. It's got some wicks up here, and you can see the wicks all the way huge. So it means it didn't hold, but certainly volatile. Daily chart, very volatile stock. Let's look at it a little bit more recently here. Now, looking at it just on what is this? The 15-minute chart. You can see a little bit of a range here between like $9 and 10. And so you can see like here up to here. So you can see a little bit of a range that formed. Let me remove these so you can see what I mean here. You can see it's a little bit of a range that it's been testing lately that I think is interesting to watch. You can see the range here. There's a range that we could look to attack. I would look for it to hold. So it pushed up, broke some highs, and now we're pulling back some. So yeah, I would look at $9, $8.50, $9, see if it holds there on a short term, especially $8.50. If you look at $8.50 here, 850 is really confirmed as well. We could probably just extend the 850 back, and you can see highs here, a lot of lows back in what's that, August. So $8, anywhere between 8 and 9 is where I would look to see if it holds support. If it breaks under those levels, then it might pull back to 7. But certainly a volatile move, and we can look at the fundamentals here as well.
Yeah,
A little bit larger float, 60 mil.
Well, you pull up that fundamentals, to me, like you said right there, I could see this one maybe testing that 875, 850 area, and then just coming right back. Like I know, John, you like those red to green moves. This is that type of red to green move that I would look for, because it's showing some weakness on like the hourly or bigger time frame. But if you look at it like on that bigger time frame, on like a daily or weekly, it actually looks pretty. Not that
Okay.
doesn't look like a bad chart, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
so those are the times when you get those reversals into the open.
Right. And I think this is one of the reasons a lot of people are talking about it. I want to pull up a bad chart. Let me see if I can find a bad chart, just so people, when we say good and bad charts, so people can understand the difference. If you've got some bad charts, post them in the chat. We'll see what the chat suggests. Really.
Where the bad charts at, guys?
Right. Hey, let's see the bad charts. I mean,
where the bad charts at?
GBR. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, some people busting that GBR real quick.
Yeah, GBR. I mean, I don't even know if they're talking about this one as a bad chart. But
Poet, is that even a sticker?
Yeah. Which one?
Supposedly Poet.
Oh, let's see, dude. People have said some 4-letter words. I've typed them in. No, it's not. And I've typed them in on the street before all the time. GameStop until this week. Yeah, we can look it back before this week at GameStop, just so you guys. It's gonna be harder to tell. Let's see. Let me EQOS. I mean, when I say bad chart, I mean OPTI. I mean, that was breaking highs, kind of. GSX. When I say bad chart, I mean, let me see.
I got one. I can get one.
I'm talking about penny stocks like that fail consistently is what I'm talking about. So like, man, I'm trying to think. It's been a while. Last week, not many penny stocks even ran just because everybody was watching GameStop and Macy's. But there's a few we could probably look at. CTRM. Yeah, I mean, before this, it was weak. CTRM recently pushed back up, but it's a bad long-term chart. So a lot of the time, what I'm going to consider a bad chart is something that spikes and then fails. And it doesn't mean you can't trade it short-term, but a lot of these are pulling back to okay levels, though. Yeah, maybe this one. Yeah, BANT. It's an OTC stock, though, so I don't know. I'm less versed in OTC as opposed to penny stocks. JAGX. I mean, JAGX is holding. It gapped up. JAGX was at 19 cents in November, and now it's at 3 or 280s, so it's holding. Okay. Can we look at Nokia? But yeah, basically what I'm looking for when I say a bad chart, Nokia doesn't look great, to be honest. I mean, okay, so one thing that you can look for if we want to say not a good chart is something that has basically retraced all its gains. It's like I said before, something that is not held. Now, Nokia is still up, though, in the last month, and so we can't really take that away. I mean, it's up like 20%, but it went up to 10 and it came back down to 4s. So that's what I would look at on a short-term basis. What do you think about Nokia, Mitch?
Nokia is just I think it was just riding the BlackBerry wave.
100%.
No. It was just riding the BlackBerry. It was like the other one, like
90s move.
What can I relate it to? A lot of times, like when I look at, I'm all about the story. I mean, so if it has a relationship, I'll look at it.
Right.
This one's an interesting turnaround. SIGL. Someone mentioned that one as an ugly chart. Whoever mentioned that one, shout outs to you.
Yeah.
Shout outs to you.
There it is. There it is, right there. Hey, thank you, sir. We finally got one. But no, yeah, this is exactly what you're talking about. This is what we mean, though. Like I said, we want to see one that retraces its gains. That's an ugly chart.
That right? Blockchain Brian. Shout out to Blockchain Brian.
Hey, thank you, Blockchain Brian. Thank you, sir.
Hey, maybe he could teach us how to say Doge.
Yeah. Honestly, everybody.
Dodge, Doge.
Right. All I know is I tried to buy it last night and it's doubled and I'm mad about it. That's all I know. I've been calling it Doge, but I have no idea how you pronounce it. Yell at me, chat. It's okay. But yeah.
Hey man, I've definitely enjoyed at least for a Sunday night show that this has been definitely fun to spend some time and talk some tickers. What else? What else do you want to tell everybody,
Yeah,
John?
guys. Hey, listen, come check out the channel if you guys want. We post free day trading content. I'm going to be back here every Sunday evening. We're going to be doing the same thing, talking about the interesting moves in the penny stock and maybe we should add that, and maybe other stocks. We're going to be looking at it all, talking about penny stocks that are interesting, volume, strategies that we used this past week. And I'm sure Mitch will be on here again as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
definitely. You know, one thing I'd mention before everybody goes, if you look in the description to make it easy for you guys, you'll find his channel right there, guys. Just look in the description when this is over and click onto his channel, and you guys can check him out. I'll definitely come back whenever you can have me. I mean, you
Yeah.
know. The big man John with his small caps here. I don't want to cramp your style here.
Hey, anytime, bro. Anytime. Come back anytime,
Hey, definitely, guys. Well, I guess we'll see you next time, right? Go ahead and give the farewell for them.
Hey guys, I appreciate you joining us here today. Good luck, y'all. Be careful in the market. Take it slow. Be risk adverse tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen? It should be a really fun day. We'll be back Sunday evening. Y'all can find my channel at youtube.com/beginner trading. Have a good rest of your weekend, guys, and we'll see you all next week. Later, team.